today we need to get into some new updates with the lawsuit that is going on and what's happening with that. We also have people who believe that Jimin might have addressed the shipping situation and might not have addressed it positively. And then we have some aggressive texts that have leaked. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave, decide hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Make sure you join us fangirling on Patreon with some free content on Saturdays now, and let's go. The first story is absolutely hilarious as a bunch of texts came out and it was absolutely so funny. There was a forum that ended up posting a bunch of pictures between the conversation of a stage designer and their friend. The stage designer, I guess, had worked with BTS, but the stage designer typically doesn't appear when the boys are performing. The stage is usually done well before anyone even steps foot on the stage. So of course, that means that that specific designer never got the chance to actually meet BTS. They just created the set for that. But I do think the set designer was able to watch that show. Anyway, apparently during one of the conversations with him and his female friend, the set designer asked the female friend if she was a fan of BTS, and specifically wanted to know if she had any pictures of Jimin, and he wanted all of those pictures. Of course, Jimin probably looks angelic. He looks glowy, and I can definitely imagine that a lot of people have been and still continue to be obsessed with sort of visual presence he brings on stage. If we can feel it through the camera and we can see it on a screen, in person, it is definitely a completely different thing. It is very good. I like to say that a camera can tend to wash out things. For example, someone could be screaming on camera and showing a lot of energy, but if all the videos on your feed are people screaming and showing a lot of energy, it tends to feel very normal. Whereas obviously people in real life wouldn't actually do that. And so if you were to see it in real life, it would be a lot more dramatic and a lot more attention grabbing. Same thing goes with dancing. Same thing goes with when you wear a really nice outfit. When the camera sees it, it tends to look not as great. And I mean, like, it still looks good, it just can wash it out a little bit. But because we tend to expect that if we are seeing something on camera, then it's something that is good. We already have that in our minds. I hope that makes sense. So of course, I imagine seeing Jimin live, seeing how his skin looks, seeing how he moves, seeing how the light hits him, and it's just a much more different experience than seeing him in the videos, I would imagine. So the female friend of the set designer basically asked, do you want all of the pictures of Jimin, or what do you want specifically? And he wanted all of them because he just thought that Jimin looked so beautiful. And then he jokingly added that he might be gay and that he would probably leave his girlfriend. Now, of course, Jimin is not someone that looks like a man. He is someone that looks ethereal. He looks like an angel. And I think a lot of people who have taste and who know what to look for in art, such as a set designer, are going to look at someone more like Jimin and see the beauty in him rather than seeing him as just like a man. Well, apparently that part and that quote that he said was the one that ended up going viral. And people were talking about how this was such a funny, aggressive, angry type of text, where obviously it was a joke and he wasn't actually angry, but it was a very aggressive one. And it aggressively shows their love to Jimin. Now, if you're not aware of what's going on amidst a sort of lawsuit that is happening or a sort of debate that's happening within the label and Min Hee-jin, let's talk about it. Now, there's a lot of debates going on, and specifically one debate that has resurfaced right now is with New Jeans and Islet. Now, of course, the two groups don't have any drama between each other, but of course, a lot of people think that the drama has been orchestrated by the label. So one of the members talked about how she wasn't aware of this specific type of food when she was asked about it. This is a type of hand-cut noodles, and it was believed that she was kind of like, oh, what is that? I don't really know what that is. Or she was kind of taking a moment to figure it out and what she thought it was. You know how like you do that sometimes. You're kind of like, is this what I think it is? Oh, yes, it is. Now, of course, this is not a big deal, and I think most of us have done this, but this comes at a time where I think a lot of people are very anxious and self-cautious of or insecure about the amount of money that they have, which of course makes sense. We're all struggling right now. But people took this as that she's trying to say that she comes from a very wealthy family and that she's trying to portray that. This is the stereotype within the Asian community or within K-pop, is that the celebrities or the idols like to show that they have a lot of money, because that means that they can be looked at as an idol, because it makes them look like they're not human. Like in the US, we like that our celebrities are relatable, whereas in Korea, it's supposed to be seen as they're not relatable. They're a literal idol. For some reason, people thought that because she was saying that she didn't know what this popular noodle dish was, that she was insinuating that she only eats better food than that, and that is why she doesn't know. is because she's rich. Now, of course, I don't have to get into how stupid that is. We just should know that that's stupid. Now, she did come out and talk about this to say that she was more so trying to figure out what was happening because she was a picky eater. And so she probably never had it, nor was she necessarily familiar with what it was because she had never had it. So she was probably like, oh wait, what are snails? Or snails, oh, that thing, like that sort of thing. The backstory on this is that apparently this situation was used to get New Jeans fans to mock Eyelit, and this was allegedly orchestrated by the label. Of course, obviously, I've never seen any proof of this actually being real, so it makes no sense to me. Now, apparently there was a post kind of mocking the situation, and Min Hee-jin liked it. This was believed that it was her way of confirming that it was true, or that the whole situation was actually as bad as it's being made out to seem in the media. Since the post is mocking Eyelit and she works with New Jeans, people think it's shade. Now, this is interesting because I don't believe a like would hold that much power, especially for a post that doesn't explicitly pick one side or the other, I don't think. Now, that post is in Korean, so I don't 100% understand what it says, but to me, it seems like a post that was just kind of making a little joke, and it wasn't supposed to be a bad one. However, Min Hee-jin did end up talking about it, and she had something pretty interesting to say. She ended up replying to a DM that ended up going viral. So I guess celebrities nowadays know that they don't even have to make a formal statement. They just have to respond to someone in the DMs, and that'll usually go viral and people will see it. So that's interesting. But she responded to someone who said, I think you accidentally liked a picture, talking about the picture that would be allegedly mocking a group. She addressed this and said that she did indeed accidentally like the picture. What happened was that she was sent that picture and then she clicked on it to read it and then accidentally liked it, and she didn't mean to do that. Which of course I think a lot of people were saying how relatable that was because they do that all the time. It's very easy to like a picture on Instagram. However, what someone does online or whatever someone hits like on shouldn't be used against them, I don't think. For example, I think it's interesting when people are using ships lately because there are a lot of ship content out there recently, and a lot of it is, I think, fine, and I think most of it is not anything that people would find dangerous, and thus I think that it should be allowed online. But then there is some stuff that is very weird and kind of gross, which of course should be kept to themselves. I mean, there's all sorts of ships and there's all sorts of stories that go so far beyond like just two people falling in love with each other or whatever. It's really raunchy stories made up. It's really raunchy AI images that are curated of the members, of the BTS members hooking up with each other. In some cases, there's videos that are being made. It's really a lot. And you know what? I'm all for AI content if it means like creating art or creating things that aren't terrible. For example, taking a photo of me and then putting me on the moon or something like that, that's cool and fun and whatever, but shouldn't be anything more than that. Now, during one of the recent concerts that BTS did before they went to the military, Jimin actually spoke about ships and fan service and that sort of stuff. So apparently there was something, I think, on Jimin's face, and then one of the members got it off Jimin's face, and then J-Hope said a bromance, implying that the two are cute and that they're having a little bit of a bromance. Jimin very quickly snapped back to say that he doesn't really like fan service because he doesn't like feeling or acting fake, which I think is very interesting. I think a lot of people think that the fan service or the shipping is something that they're doing by themselves or they're doing actively because they want to show off their love, as opposed to them doing fan service because they know that it's fan service and that that's what people want to see. It's a bit odd to say that everything that they're doing, especially when they know that the cameras are around, are for the sake of the cameras. It's a bit odd to say that everything that they're doing, especially when they know that the cameras are around, are for the sake of the cameras. Like pretty much any person that's growing up in entertainment and has grown up as a kid is aware that the cameras are always watching and are going to record everything. So especially if there's an interaction of two guys hugging or whatever it is, they know that that's going to get posted online and people are going to talk about it. This is why sometimes when I read posts of people saying that the label is trying to hide so-and-so together because they're not showing so-and-so together anymore, sometimes I think that that's just not the case. Sometimes the members themselves just don't want to put on that fan service anymore, and that's okay. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Patreon for more videos. I'll link down below. Thanks for the comment right here. Love you. Bye.